Hi, everybody. Welcome to the week 3 creative presentation live training. First of all, I want to say congratulations to everybody. You are halfway through your first class. It just goes lightning speed. And before you know it, you're going to be saying, I'm halfway through my degree. So just hold on tight, absorb all you can, enjoy the ride. And again, just absorb all you can and just enjoy it. You're going to be amazed when you look back and see the growth that you've had. So before I get forward too much, too far in there, we do have a mixture of students here tonight. If you are in Mr. Mock's class, Dave Mock, he is on vacation this week, and hopefully you guys got the link from him, and you're going to be joining us tonight. So feel free to interact with us. There's lots of students in here that from all different types of sections, all different type of degree programs. So we're really just going to just have a great time. Now, we do in these sessions, if you have a microphone, we have a little participation thing. So everybody is welcome to try it. We have a little fill in the blank session that we're going to have. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. If you are watching the recording of this, feel free to fast forward through this to the points where we talk about the assignments, because this is just kind of getting used to speaking in front of others. And in this case, getting used to talking about ourselves, which can sometimes be challenging to do. I don't know if you guys are like that, but if anybody ever kind of gives you a compliment, sometimes it's hard to just say, well, thank you, and not say, oh, but I could have done this or that, or, oh, I should have combed my hair this way or that way, And so I think sometimes we have that self depreciated attitude towards ourselves, and we don't even know that we're doing it. So we're gonna practice being confident and talking about things that other people tell us that we do very well at. So we're gonna get started. And Abadias, I know that you have a microphone. I don't know. I know you had a little bit of noise, so you turned it off. But if you want to turn yours on, you're usually a really great participator. I wanted to see if you wanted to get us started. What do you think? Let's see if he's out there. So he may not be able to. Okay, there we go.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello,
Get us
everyone.
started. Get us started, Abadias. Okay.
Hello, my name is Abdias. People tell me that three things that I do very well are smiling, playing the piano, and running.
Oh my goodness. I think we could just hear you smiling through there. I think that is fantastic. Okay. Brandon has said that he will go. Brandon's hand is up. Brandon, you'll need to turn your microphone on. Go for it.
Okay, it's on.
Go ahead.
Hey everyone. My name is Brandon. Three things I do very well is I play football very well. I'm very good at math. And last, I would say probably video games. I'm very good at Madden, football on the game.
Okay. That is a talent that may come in very, very handy. All right. Ariella Smith, I see that you have a microphone. Do you want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Ariel. People tell me that three things that I'm good at are drawing, giving advice, and organizing.
Oh, gosh, I need to invite you over to my house. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. All right, Gatlin. Let's see, Darlene. Let's go in order. Brandon started. Darlene, you can go ahead and turn. Go. Your turn, Darlene.
Tell me that three things that I do very well are listen, express my emotions, and roller skate.
Oh, very nice. That's cool. Are you into that? What is that derby? The what's that roller skating derby called?
Not the roller skating derby, but I grew up as a young kid roller skating, and I still love it still today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Roller derby. I guess that they had that in Orlando for a while. It was pretty cool. All right. Thank you for sharing. All right, Gatlin, your turn. Go ahead and turn your mic on and go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, what's going on? My name is Demetrius Gatlin. People tell me the three things that I do very well: track submarines because I'm in the Navy, ride a motorcycle well, and produce music well.
Oh, well, very cool. Now, when you track submarines, are you in a submarine?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I bet when you're in the submarine, you are really missing your motorcycle.
something like that.
Oh, oh my goodness.
It's an adrenaline exchange. One for the other.
I bet. Awesome. Well, that's cool. Let's thank you for sharing. All right, Wander, you're up next.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, hello, my name is Wander Duran. Three things that I do well is play chess. I play excellent chess, and people tell me I'm a great problem solver, and I'm a good listener.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you sound very, very intelligent, and I cannot wait to hear more about you in your presentation that you're going to be doing this month. That sounds cool. All right, Dakota, let's see. Dakota Rilla, Sarah Nichols, you're up. Sarah, oops, I'm not here. Sarah, looks like Sarah doesn't have a microphone. Sarah, we're not hearing you. I don't know if you're trying to turn on your mic, but we don't show that you have a mic, so we'll come back around to you, and you can also text it if you need to. Dakota, now your turn.
Hello, my name is Dakota Shelley. People tell me that the three things I do very well are writing with passion, speaking with passion, because I write poetry, so that kind of stuff, speaking like at places, and just being able to listen to someone, comprehend, and reply in a respectful manner. Just, so it's like listening, but then also giving a reply.
That is a talent that not everyone has. So that is very cool that you have that. It is a great way to market yourself, digitally market yourself in person, as in on the written word. So that's a very good talent that a lot of people should probably work on a little bit. So thank you for sharing that. All right, Sarah, Sarah's saying she's not hearing audio. I didn't think that she was. Hang on just a second. Let me type something to Sarah. Sarah, try adjusting the volume, the audio area on your control panel. Let's see if we can get her going. All right. Oh, she fixed it. There she is. All right, cool. So Sarah can hear us. Let's see if I'm still not. Sarah, can you turn your microphone on? Let's see if she can turn hers on. Okay. All right. So we'll let her keep playing with that. All right. Let's see who's going. Let's see. I see some more. Tommy, I see that you have a microphone. You want to give it a try?
Sure, I'll go ahead.
Okay.
My name is Tommy. Three things people tell me I'm very good at: cooking, building engines, and entertaining.
Ooh, what's your favorite dish to cook?
Crawfish etouffee.
Yummy. Sounds good. All right, Tyler, well, how about you? You're up.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Tyler. I guess three things I'm good at is listening, creative thinking, and I can I guess think under high stress.
Okay. Is this high stress right now?
No, I just
okay. That's okay. All right, Sarah, you're up. It looks like your mic's on. Give it a try.
So obviously my name is Sarah.
Yes.
I'm very good at drawing. I love to draw. I'm good at screwing up my electronics, apparently. And I talk way too much. Oh. So if that would be a talent, that would be it.
There we go. Hey, you own up to it. I like it. I think you're good at honesty too. All right, let's see. Dakota already went. Ariel already went. All right, so I think everybody has gone. Unless you haven't gone, let me know. Speak up if you want to go. It's your turn right now.
I haven't went.
Oh, was that Kim?
Yes.
Okay, Kim, your turn. I just saw your microphone. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Kimberly Blossom, and the three things people tell me I'm good at, I guess, talents. I'm multi-talented. I can do a few things. Cooking, and I have a good sense of humor.
Okay, what do you like to cook? What's your favorite thing to cook?
Seafood, chicken.
Okay.
Mac and cheese, a lot of stuff.
Mac and cheese. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. So, thank you guys for participating in that. It's good to kind of be able to just kind of think on your feet and be able to talk about yourself as well. Get used to hearing yourself on the microphone. That's really awesome. So, thank you guys for doing that. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. We've got quite a bit to get to tonight. We're going to talk about the assignments. We are going to talk about I hope you guys had the opportunity to watch the Amanda Palmer video. We're going to talk about star moments. And then we're going to finish it up with some design stuff because you guys are actually moving into production this week. So let's take a look and see what we are doing. So you have 4 activities again, just like this last week. Only this time, there's no Wednesday deadline. I know we've got those crazy discussion boards with the 2-part deadlines, but not this week. We feel that you guys are going to have your hands full with getting into production. So really, the biggest thing that you need to worry about this week is getting your first draft done. Try to get it done by Sunday night. If you take a look at the right-hand column, that kind of tells you the dates, and you may notice that third one there doesn't match the others. It says August 27. So it's like, well, what the heck's all that about? So what this is this is a board. You can kind of think it about like it's a community discussion board, but it's a resource board. It's where we're going to share things like that could be helpful to you, things that you've discovered while you're trying to make your presentations. It's also going to stay open all month because it can give you the opportunity, if you would like to post your first draft or even your final version, to be able to share with your classmates. This is the only place that we really have that you guys can do that. So we didn't used to let you guys share with each other, and we had such feedback about, oh, we want to see each other's. So we created this board. It's not required that you do that, but that will stay open all month. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. So we're going to go through each one. The first one, you're doing it right now. Well, we're doing the first one, so you just need to click that complete. The learning activities this week, you're going to have a video to watch, and then you're going to have just one post that you need to do. So if you'll look at the bottom of it, it'll say, I want you to discuss the best visual things that you've ever experienced in somebody else's presentation, and try to identify, why they're so powerful. So it could be that something that's in your past. It could be something that you watched in a TED Talk, but just something where the visual element really enhanced that message. That was kind of the star moment for you, that you remembered that the visuals really accentuated, put that exclamation point on the content. And so we also want to talk about if they're using any techniques that we've discussed in this course so far. So just one post on this one by Sunday. So not a big deal on this one. All right. So the peer feedback discussion board. This is the one that I was talking about. It's kind of like the community board. You guys can kind of share, collaborate as you work on your final assignment. If you find something or you run into an issue about a certain software or a certain online presentation software, maybe you could share it in here, or you said, hey, I found this cool video editor or a cool music editor. I found this source. It could be something that you could put on here. So you're only required to do either a post or reply to somebody else. So minimal requirements of being active on this board, but this is for you guys. This is for you to share. So I encourage you to take advantage of it and collaborate with your classmates. But this one, you can see, has a 0% weight. So it's totally up to you, but you do still need to make at least one post or one reply to trigger the activity complete in the system, okay? And you have until the end of the class to actually do this, okay? So things like examples, like, well, what would we put on here? Well, this is some stuff that we found. People put they didn't have any way to record, but they had a phone. So somebody posted something they found WikiHow and put that up there. Somebody else was asking about, hey, where can I get a, just a cheap microphone? I'm not really interested. I don't care if the quality is really good. I don't have a lot of money, but I do want to record something. And somebody posted like the link to where you can get a really cheap microphone that then you could take back, So it's really up to you what you want to share. It's just collaborating with each other. So before we move into the 3.4, does anybody have any questions about either your learning activities or this board before we go into the first draft? Any questions? I didn't figure there would. It's pretty self-explanatory, and we really want to concentrate on the big assignment. This one is worth 15% overall of your grade. I encourage you to look at both the instruction file and the rubric file. I will give you some good news that it's not graded as strictly as the final version is. So when you look at the rubric, it's okay to, maybe you don't have it all complete, or this is, you've got like placeholders, or, this is what I want to do here. But as long as you're showing us that you have enough forward motion in it, then that's going to be okay. So check out the rubric, and you'll see that it's not quite as strictly graded. So Wonder has a question. Go ahead.
Do we have to absolutely brand ourselves to a company? Pitch ourselves? No, you do not. So I will get, let's talk about that. That's a great way to start. So, because we say right there, the thing that you do have to do is project yourself as a graduate from the program that you're in right now. And there is going to be a part of it where you're using the skills that you will have mastered. That needs to be included in it. So if you take a look at the actual activity, you want to include, look at that second paragraph there, include the skills that you will have acquired in your degree. That is one of the requirements. So no matter who or what you're pitching to, you want to come off that you are a qualified, trusted candidate for whatever you're trying to convince your audience to do. And since it's related to branding yourself or trying to get an interview with a new employer, this is an important part of it. So Wonder, if you can just make sure you do that, you should be okay. We also have a requirement that it needs to be between 3 and 4 minutes of audio content. So we need to hear from you. It may also have a combination of other things in there, but we need to hear you in there as the vocals or the audio. And then we also need to have some imagery that's going to enhance your message. If you think back to the very first assignment where we did the TED Talks and we asked you to go get those emotional images and support your work with it, well, we're doing that again. We are looking for you to, if you're talking about something, is there a visual that will illustrate that better or connect with somebody better about what's going on, and that will trigger another portion of their brain. So we really want to get some practice doing that. It does need to be combined. So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to use. Hopefully you guys are already diving into either if you have a computer that has PowerPoint on it or Keynote, or if you don't, you're using something that's like online, like Adobe Spark. There's other ones that are out there, but the Adobe Spark's really cool because you can record right onto the slides and not have to record separately. Let's see, Anthony Rich, it looks like your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, does it have to be 3 to 4 minutes, or can it be longer?
If you look at the rubric file, we ask you for it to be between 3 and 4 minutes. And if it's over that, there is a slight deduction. So you're going to have to decide how many points you're willing to take off to go over those 4 minutes. But the reason that I find that it's really important, Anthony, is because think about this. If there was a company out there and it was either a company that you want to work for, or it was an opportunity to pitch to investors, or you had a Super Bowl commercial or something, and it has specific technical requirements, part of being able to meet that technical requirement is kind of a projection of yourself. So that's one of the reasons that we actually attach point values to the time length. But again, you're going to have to decide if you're going to blow past that or you want to try to limit yourself. You got to think about the purpose of the presentation, and you should be able to get your point across in a 3 to 4 minute. And so like Dakota's got something here that's really kind of cool right here, saying the more concise you are, the better, because Dakota is right here. It is an introduction. It isn't if it's something that you're trying to inform them about something, that might come in a follow-up meeting. So all you're trying to do now is like get their attention, either get an interview or get considered to come back and talk to them more about the whole idea or the investment that you want to have. So what do you think is pushing you past that, Anthony? What are you concerned about not being able to do it within 4 minutes?
Well, I mean, with the whole intricate story, every presentation that I've seen or watched, it's always been more than 4 minutes long because of a backstory that they come from to get where they're from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where I was coming, because I mean I've noticed that on one of the star moments it says a story.
Yes.
So I mean that's where I was coming from with that. I mean if someone's telling their story, it might take longer than 4 minutes to tell a story about where they're coming from to get where they are. You know what I'm saying?
I think you have a point. However, if you got to look at your script, you got to look at it as almost like a trailer for a movie. You're telling just enough to get their interest in it where they want to know more about you, right? So you got to take the look at that story, write out your story, say it out loud, time yourself, and you might be surprised. I don't know if you've gotten that far yet, but if you're just way over, look at it. What absolutely has to stay in here to make them want to know more about me, and what might not be. It's a detail, but it doesn't really add a lot to the story. So that might help you edit it a little bit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, Abadias, I think your hand is up. Do you have a question?
I don't have a question. I just want to add to what the students said right before, that why it goes through 4 minutes, why it cannot extend.
Okay.
I think the situation there is that we are going to be going into the corporate world. In the corporate world, they look at their employees as if they would want you to explain in a little bit of time details about yourself, precise, Mm-hmm. They don't want to sit there more than 4 minutes looking at you explaining about yourself, because they like to hire people in and out, That's just that's just an input that
And if that is your target audience, that's why it's also very important to research your target audience, because do they have the time to have 15-minute interviews? If it's the very first one, if they've got 500 people to interview, is it that situation, or are you in a situation where they've already researched you and then they want to know more about you? Then it's time to really push it. Anthony, who are you pitching yourself to? Have you gotten that far? Who's your target audience?
To be honest with you, it's just all kinds. I'm going for graphic design, so it's more in the sense of graphic design and web development. So anybody who needs a web design or a logo, or and a sense of that per se, I guess. So.
Okay. Did you happen to are you familiar with the Simon Sinek and the Golden Circle?
Yes, I am familiar with Simon Sinek and Golden Circle.
Okay.
I enjoyed that video a whole lot, and that's part of the reason. I guess if what I'm really going to go after would be more like small and big churches, like Elevation Church, or even some of the. I'm in North Carolina, so there's tons of small churches It doesn't have a logo. It doesn't have a website. It doesn't have, you know, anything that necessary to get their name out.
Right.
And that's what I'll be, and that's who, I guess that's who I will be pitching mine more to in the sense of that. So.
Right. So if you think about it, and we take that golden circle, and this is, I'm hoping this, using this example is going to help you guys kind of apply it to what you're doing as well. But for example, Anthony, the first thing that Anthony's got to do is he's made this video, and maybe he's going to send it out to a bunch of small churches. So he doesn't have a specific church in mind. It's just it's the smaller ones. So he's got to connect with the person that's watching that video. And so Simon is saying, if you start with your why, you know, if they've got a whole bunch of different clients, you know, people that they're pitching to get to do this for them, if you start with your why and you relate with them, because it sounds like you have a religious background, maybe there's a story in there that why, or something that you noticed about that these churches don't have it and they need it, and that maybe there's a story that will illustrate that for them, and you do that, you know, that's why you feel it's so important. And then you go right into your how, which is your skills, which is, it's going to make them trust you. Like, oh, this guy, he knows us. He's not just trying to scam us and take our money. He really cares, right? And then you go into your skills that you have because of your formal education. And then you talk about the what it is that you're going to do for these churches. If they hire you, what is it going to, you know, allow them to become or be or reach their congregations better? You know, to flow with that. And then the very end, you use that call to action about, you know, hey, I'm Anthony Rich, and I look forward to talking to you. I want to talk to you about, you know, I want to help you accomplish your goals, or something like that. Does that make sense?
Actually, that's my whole thing. You know, I want to help people who, you know, I want to help churches that necessarily doesn't have they have the resources, but they don't have the know-how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
I want to help them out. So
right. So you've got to figure out something in the middle, just, I mean, at the beginning, because it sounds like the story of why you're doing that, that's what's going to take you so long. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to have to figure out, you know, how to just hit the highlights, get the trailer for the movie, right? And then once you say, oh, we want to come and talk to you in person, then you can, you know, really cement the deal and do more. So digest that a little bit. I want to keep going because we have a lot to talk about, but I hope everybody will kind of think about that, is that your story, your why, you want to resonate with them. You want to connect with them quickly, because you've only got, you know, people think about how short attention spans are. And so you want to connect with them just like a movie trailer does. You're like to keep them from fast forwarding through you, right? And going to the next person. All right, so let's just talk about this assignment a little bit more, because you guys have to record it. You have to have visuals. There is an instruction file in there, and basically there's not a lot to it. It's just kind of reminding you that this is being completed in 3 phases. So if you look down there on the left-hand side, we've just finished the presentation plan. We're doing the first draft this week. And then what's going to happen is your instructor is going to watch your first draft, and they're going to give you feedback on it. And then you're going to revise that first draft into the final version. So you're not going to be creating 2 different presentations. From now on, we planned for it. We're doing the first draft, and then we're moving it up to the next level. And there's always room. It's going to be the last chapter you guys read. There's always room for improvement. But what we're trying to do is just kind of move along, and hopefully you guys will keep this kind of in your mind as you're going through school. And by the time you graduate, you are going to have something that's going to really to work for you and be an asset for you. So make sure that you guys realize that those are the week 2, week 3, and then that final one. All right. I also encourage you guys to take a look at your announcements. Mr. Mox, if you're in Dave Mox class, your announcements might look a little bit different, but I'm sure this information is in there. It's how to get your free access to Microsoft Office if you haven't done that yet. We've got free software tutorials on lynda.com for you guys. I know in mine, I have ways that you can find images, stock video, even music beds. If you're going to use music in your presentations, please use music that does not have words in it. Music beds. You guys have a free access to this really cool music database called WeStar. Check it out. It's so cool. So check out your announcements. In my class, I know I even put a new one up there today. So if you look up at the top right, you got that little bell and there's a red dot to it. That means there's something you haven't read yet. So make sure you do that. Once you get your presentation done, you want to make sure, well, actually, before you can even start on it, you've got to be able to answer these 2 questions. So if you can't answer the questions, then you don't really need to get started yet, because you're not going to accomplish it. You got to know where you're going before you get in the car, right? So try to really define, if you didn't do it in your plan, why you're doing this presentation and what do you hope to accomplish, because then that way you will. What you need to do is also use that. If you're going to use a script, a lot of people will write a script. Some people will use very detailed outlines. Maybe they don't want to use it word for word, but you really need to have it structured. And so that way you know about how much time you're going to spend on the beginning, on the middle, and the end. And I encourage that you, when you're writing your script, that you pause as you're writing it and time it. And then you can figure out, hey, this took a minute. This only took 45 seconds. Oh my gosh, this took 3 minutes and I haven't even gotten to my how or my what yet. So maybe I need to cut that back down a little bit. So these are the things that you need to try to do. Once you get it built, then we've got to figure out how to turn it in. So Dakota's got a good question. Do you show the script? Do you turn in the script or just the video? All you're required to do is turn in the video. So the finished recording with your audio, us hearing you, and your visuals. Yeah, so a script is not required to be turned in. But you do need to submit it. So how are you going to do that? Because a lot of students will, instead of having a movie file that's really heavy on your phone, if you're using a phone or a device to do your classwork with, maybe it needs to live online. But you're going to need to upload something to our system to trigger it complete. So you got a couple of options. If you, let's say your video's on YouTube or your video's on Adobe Spark, you can just get the address to it. If you want to, you can put it in some kind of text document and then upload that text document, or you can just paste the link to it as a comment on the activity, and then maybe just upload a funny picture. I get funny memes all the time from students who do that. So just to have it trigger complete, you got to upload something. But again, you do not have to upload your presentation if it lives online. Don't stress about, well, I couldn't get the file to download and then re-upload because my internet's not strong enough. So please don't think that you have to do that. All right, so I'm going to pause right now and say, do we have any more questions about the 3.4 first draft?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to. I guess I wanted to ask a question. I think. Man, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. I just wanted to know about the project, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe you should come back to me.
No problem. I'm going to hang out. No problem. That happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it. Yep. As soon as we move on, you'll be like, oh, I got it now. So you just let me know. So let's talk about the production. So if you have a computer that uses Keynote or iMovie or PowerPoint, or you use Google Drive, our tech support department does support this software. So feel free to use them. They're open 7 days a week. If you're using something that's online, they may not support that, but most things that are online are pretty easy to use, like the Adobe Spark or Prezi or Powtoon or things like that. They're pretty easy to figure out. And if you're struggling, you could still call, because these guys are really cool and they'll try to help you out. So don't just give up, right? Don't give up. Call and ask for help. All right. Wonder has a question. Go for it.
So are we able to upload, if we use iMovie, we're able to upload straight from iMovie onto the
No, I think you've got to export it out as like a QuickTime file or something, because if you don't, the file is going to be so large, I think it's not going to upload. So
okay, got it.
yeah, I think what I would do, Wonder, just right now, because it's early in the week, do a little test. Like make a short movie in iMovie and then export it out. See if you can get it. I know that you used to could upload it straight to YouTube. So you could just post it on YouTube from iMovie. That's the easiest way to do it. But if you want to actually download the file and then put like an MP4 file up or a QuickTime file, but practice. Don't wait until like Sunday morning to do it and freak out.
Yeah, last Sunday, that's what I did. I uploaded it to YouTube, and then
Yes.
had a problem trying to put it in.
You had a problem trying to get the YouTube link in?
No, from iMovie, putting it in from iMovie.
To YouTube.
Yeah, and no, once it was on YouTube, it was I tried to download it and re-upload it onto the server, your server.
Yeah. We need to skip that version. If you're going to skip that step. So if you get it onto YouTube, then you're done. All you got to do is just grab the YouTube link and post it in the feedback, the comments area there, and then you're done. You can upload a picture or a document that has the link in it instead, because it's a lot easier on you guys than trying to do it like you did, Wonder, because you're going to run into that same problem.
Yeah, no, I learned my mistake from last time.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that so everybody knows. So yeah, if you can get it to live online, it's going to be a lot easier on you. Because the problem is, one of the problems is, one, there's a limit to the size that you can upload. And two, if you're trying to upload a huge file at the same time everybody else is on Sunday night, the system's going to bog down and it's just not going to finish. So yes, Dakota, you can just upload your link. We actually prefer that better. Absolutely, Dakota. Yeah, we like that a lot. Martin, I see your note here that you joined late and you're on the road listening, so you can definitely message your question to me. No problem at all. All right. Any more questions about the assignment before we move on to the other content?
Yes, now I knew what I was going to say.
Okay, your turn, Kimberly. Go ahead.
Okay, it's actually about my phone. I wanted to know because my internet, my laptop is not working right now. So right now what I have is an Android smartphone.
Okay.
And how do you upload your project on a smartphone?
So you would need to do your project and like upload it to the YouTube. So you'd need a YouTube channel, and you'd have YouTube on your phone, the YouTube app.
I have YouTube on my phone.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly how to use YouTube. I don't know anything about YouTube, about like uploading anything up there.
Okay.
That I would have to learn.
Yeah. Now, if you're using a device and you're a phone or a tablet like that, which I know a lot of people are now, you might be better off to create your project on a site. Like, did you ever try that Adobe Spark website? Because if you just create it on there, then you don't have to upload it anywhere.
You said Adobe?
Adobe Spark. If you look in the chat box right now, everybody's kind of talking about it. So that way you don't have to even deal with YouTube at all.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So give that a try, and it should work on your Android phone. I haven't heard
anything for it. Do you have to sign up for it?
No, it's free. You do have to make a username and password, or I think it might allow you to sign up with Facebook, but you don't have to pay for it. It's free. Okay. All right. Shantae is jamming. All right, Shantae, I got to turn you down. I like it. I wish we could just jam, but I got to. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, cool. All right. All right. So, guys, we're going to move on to get to the content, and then I will stick around and answer any more questions. Just for everybody that's kind of watching the recording at home, we want to move on and make sure that they get to hear the design stuff. So, we're talking about this way. We're kind of we've moved into slideology. We're talking about making ideas and not thinking about like the typical PowerPoint slides with all of the, bullet points and having the script on the screen and things like that. It's really the visuals are for the viewers, not for the presenter. So we want to, if we're going to think about the content that we're using, making an impact, like showing that picture right there, that was impact. Something hit that and made it impact, right? So you want your information to do the same thing. Remember, I want you to start with your why, then, why you're doing this. Then tell how you're unique or to be qualified in this industry, and then what it is that you're going to accomplish for your target audience, or maybe it might be in your field or those kind of things. So try to remember that golden circle and get those structures. You also want to make sure that you're focusing on the audience. They're there to hear what you can do for them, right? And so that's what you're kind of doing at the what part, at the end part. You're telling them what it is that you're going to do for them. But then at the end, you also need to have a call to action. So what do you want them to do as soon as they finish? This is a great time to really kind of ask for them to connect with you, remind them who you are, just so they, so it's kind of like giving them a to-do. All right, you've done this wonderful stuff. Now I want them to act on it. Another thing that you want to do is try to tell stories, because stories can be so much more memorable, and try to tell them in a way that that they're, they've got twists and turns. Remember, we learned about the hero's journey and things like that. And it's not very linear. When I was in the first grade, I did this. In the second grade, I did this. In the third grade, I did this. In the fourth grade, I did this. By the time you get to the ninth grade, you have no idea what that person did in the first grade, and who cares? So you got to have something that they can walk away with, that they can help them to remember, so they can talk about you to the next person. All right. One of the ways that we can do that are to use star moments. These are these great categories that we learned about in Chapter 7 of Resonate. And we have 5 different categories. We asked you guys to pick the moment, or try to plan the moment or the categories in your presentation plan of what you think that you're going to use. What are you going to try to use that we would be able to identify? And so it might help to do some practice identifying. So before we had a little pre-work for you, and we asked you guys to watch The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. Just by real quickly in the chat box, it's okay if you have to say no, but tell me yes or no, have you watched it?
Yes, I watched it.
Okay, so we're getting lots of yes. All right, cool. We're going to have lots of people that can talk about this. All right, awesome.
I haven't watched it just yet.
Okay, that's okay. No worries. So we will try not to spoil it for you, because it's pretty cool. But we do want to talk about it for a little bit. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to put everybody's hands down in the chat box. I mean, in the control panel. So hopefully you guys know how to raise your hand. And what I want to do is I want you to, if you want to share, I want you to pick out one of the categories that's on the screen right now, and I want you to tell me something that was in Amanda Palmer's videos that aligns with one of those. So let's see if anybody wants to go. So you'll need to raise your hand for me. I see a hand go up. That is Michael Castro. So Michael, tell me which category you're going to use, and tell me a little bit about how she did it.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the emotive storytelling.
Okay.
And okay, hold on. I have to remember back from the video, because I watched it like early this morning and I just woke up. So
that's okay.
So Amanda was talking about how she related to her fans and being about Jesus. Wow, I can't think.
You want me to come back to you?
No, I got it. Okay. And how, because when she started off, as she said in the video, I know a lot of people haven't watched, so I'm just going to keep it short and not spoil too much. She was on the streets working, not trying to be like an actual artist, because she's a music artist, and so she was on the streets just standing there as a weird costume thing, and that's all I'm going to say.
And what part was emotional about it?
How she was relating to her fans.
Okay.
Because a lot of people like as she pointed out, a lot of people don't understand that how you see somebody out there like playing guitar or something, trying to play their music or anything like that, are poor and they're trying to make a living for themselves, and they're telling them to go get a job, and this is their job. And there's a lot of people walked up to her and said and gave her money because they understood where she's coming from.
Okay, and that was emotional for you because that you could see the relationship between her and the people that were walking up to her. Is that right?
Very much so.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, Amadeus, you're next. Go ahead. You can pick the same one or you can pick a different one. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with memorable demonstration.
Okay.
I think it was very impacting. It was very memorable when she was explaining about don't make people pay for music. She was trying to tell you to ask people.
Okay.
So and sort of in a way, she was telling people you have to ask people. Don't make people pay for music, and don't be afraid, because there was people in her band. There was a person in her band that was afraid to ask.
Okay.
To make.
Right. To go out there and to put the hat out. Right.
Yeah.
So she was demonstrating that by doing the hat. Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anthony, your turn.
I'm gonna do the visual.
All right.
When she popped up, that visual with her naked and letting all her fans crawl on her, and like write their name on her, that right there. I mean, that right there, that'll make you trust anybody in this world. I swear.
That was pretty memorable. It sure was. It was evocative for sure. Yeah, very, very good. All right, Anthony, your turn.
I just did it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, your hand was still up. Gotcha. Dakota, you're up. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. For me, it was okay. So repeatable sound bites.
Okay.
The idea that she kept saying over and over that you need to be a part of your community and you need to trust people. So she said, as an artist in the past, the most memorable artists were the ones that resided inside of their community and with their community and trusted on them. Because a lot of times artists nowadays are like, I could do it on my own. But by being honest and open with your community and realizing that they're people too, and that they need help, you need help, but that you should be able to ask them that kind of stuff. Like you should be able to go up to your audience and be like, hey, like I'm having a bad day, or you need to trust them and they trust you. And that really makes a more memorable artist.
Right. I love that one. I will have to say that you are the first person that has really pointed out the word community, but she says that a lot. And illustrates it in a lot of different times when she pulls on her community for help. That's cool. That's really cool. All right, let's see who is up. Anybody else? Michael Hill.
Yes, I would like to point out a emotive storytelling she did. It was with the story she was telling about when her and her band went to a home, asked a person in a home where they could stay at.
Right.
And how, she was thinking about, is this fair or not, about them being able to sleep in their beds while they took the couches and stuff, while they had a good place to sleep, where they had to sleep somewhere else.
Right. And what was emotional about that?
What was emotional about it was later that next morning, she woke up and the mother of the family pulled her to the side and told her that her music has made a very positive impact on her daughter. Right. And he was very thankful to her for that.
Right. It saved her. I have to admit, I that's a tough part for me to get through. My eyes water up every time, and I've seen it a million times, but yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's a pretty emotional one. I really like that one. Sarah, you're up next. Pick one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually worked all weekend. I hadn't had the chance to watch it.
No problem. I saw your mic. I was just going down the microphones. My problem. Tim, your hand is up. You want to turn your mic on? You go.
Yeah. Mine is the storytelling.
Okay.
And the part when she was talking about her bandmate and how he couldn't really go into the crowd.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't beg.
Right.
And it reminded her about when they used to yell to her to get a job.
Right. How painful that was. Yeah. Yeah. That is pretty powerful how she pulled that back together. Nice. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's see who else's hand is up. Michael, your hand is still up. I didn't know if you wanted to go again or let's see. I need someone to do a shocking.
I put my hand down. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I need somebody to do a shocking statistic. Zach, is your hand looks like it's up. Do you remember any shocking ones? Yeah. Do you remember any shocking statistics? Can you help us out with that one?
Yeah, the shocking statistic was showing the amount raised and how few people actually donated.
Yeah. Do you happen to remember how many people donated?
I think it was 25,000.
Yep.
Or maybe it was just
no, that's
100.
exactly right. It's exactly right. Let me ask you this. Do you remember when she was talking about the first album and the record label came and said, you didn't sell enough copies? Do you remember how many she got, how many she sold?
Yeah, it was the same 25.
Yep. Yep. I thought that was super cool how she pulled those two together. That's one of my favorite ones. So awesome. All right. So we have, let's see, we have dramatization. So that was kind of like her being, some of them were connecting with her crowd. Like remember the flower and like being seen and, the other person hasn't seen in the way that she, you think about it, she could have just stood up there and told that story, but by being up on the stool and taking the deep breath before she goes and using the flower and all of that stuff, that by acting it out, by demonstrating it, it just makes it so much more memorable. So these are all of the different things that Nancy Duarte says that if you can, and I realize that we only have 3 to 4 minutes, and I think this was a 13-minute video or 20, I'm not sure. I think it's maybe 13 minutes. So she had a little bit longer to develop all of this stuff, but it still works. It's still effective. And so you may not be able to have time to put more than 1 or 2 of these types in there, but it is something that is proven to be memorable. So I hope that you guys will consider doing that because we're looking for you to practice that. Okay. So let's see. The next thing that you can do is if you have an image that is extremely powerful, like we were saying, remember her naked and the people signing her? Like, I think she even shows it and is quiet for a second and then she explains what it is. She really lets everybody like soak it up. Like, oh my God, is she really naked and is up there and your brain just has to process it first. And then she powers it right back. So, thanks Dakota. Thank you for looking at that for me. Cool. So if you have the opportunity to show them, that's a great way to do it. And one of the things that we have to also realize is that when you're showing somebody something, you have to respect the intelligence of your audience. So I'm just curious right now, and the answers might be a little different for everybody, but could you just real quickly tell me, either shout it out or put it in the box, everybody participate, what do you see on the screen right now?
3 apples.
3 apples? Wow. 2.5 apples.
4.5 apples.
So we've got
Applebee's.
Yeah, there you go. Let it out. I love it. I love it. All right. So basically, everybody is here, knows what that is. So excuse my language, but why the hell would you need to put the word apple up there with an apple, right? It gives the audience way too much to process. You've got just a split second to grab them. Oh, look, that's cool. Look how bright that red apple is, or whatever. If you're talking about apples and you show a picture to kind of trigger that in that brain, then why do you have to put the word there, And now I have to say, I had to give, because I'm like, well, what if you're doing this? And I said, okay, I'll add a slide. So if you're trying to teach somebody maybe the word, the apple, maybe they don't speak English, then it might be cool because you're looking at the shape of the letters and maybe that might help you. Or if you're trying to teach them the word for it in Croatia, it might make me remember it more to see jabuka than just to see the apple. So I will give you, there is certain times when you might want to do it, but for goodness sakes, Come on, don't break the Apple rule. Respect the intelligence of your audience. Let one idea per slide. Don't make me look at so many things. Got another question for you. What's the answer to this question?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very much so. So there's whole theories and design. There's color theory 101. There's so many studies about color. It's unbelievable. But let's take just a quick little
Sometimes it hurts.
avenue. Yep. So what do you think this color represents? What does it represent to you? Spit it out. One word, 2 words.
Danger.
Red.
Danger.
Yeah.
Yep. Power. Very
Caution.
Yes, wonderful. Intensity, boom. Absolutely. It can also be combined with other colors to have an even different effect. All right, let's do another one. How about this color?
Creativity.
Okay, keep going. Just spit them out. Whatever it means to you. Sunny, you got sunny. Orange. Weird. Weird.
Makes me hungry.
It makes me hungry. It's funny. It is considered a warm color, but not aggressive. And they also say that it's a fun color. I'm curious, have you guys ever noticed, if you ever been to anything you ever seen Full Sail is, what color do we use a lot?
Orange.
We use the heck out of that weird color. It's awesome. It's funny. It's also too, I try to think about that. Like when I'm trying to, if someone obviously missed a huge part of the instruction file, instead of having a big black arrow or a big red arrow, sometimes I'll do orange and it still gets your attention, but it's not quite so, you were terrible, So anyway, we're getting other colors coming up. So we need to keep going. Yellow. What do you think about yellow?
Sunshine.
Yay! There we go.
Flowers.
There you go. It's also interesting enough. It's also associated with thirst, like lemonade. Think about drinks like that. Think about the logos. It's really cool when you start going into the grocery store and you start looking at labels and restaurants and things like that. What about green? What do you think about green?
Oh,
growth.
Yep. What else? Money.
Grass.
There we go. How to get money in there. Perfect. Money. And it can also be combined with blue to further push that health, cleanliness, life, and nature. I thought that was kind of interesting. And someone was already talking about, I think it was maybe Dakota was already talking about blue. What do you think about blue?
Sky.
Okay.
Tops.
What kind of emotions?
Beauty.
Mystery.
Sadness.
Sadness.
Pillsbury.
I like that one. Well, what
calming.
I found really interesting about blue is that it's dependent on the shade. So dark blue or light blue. If you think about it, when you go into a dentist office, it's usually light blues in there, not the heavy dark blues. What about purple?
Royalty.
Royalty. Have you ever noticed there's a certain kind of alcohol that comes in a purple bag? I wonder about that.
Oh, royal.
Okay, what about this color?
We got white.
The absence of color.
The absence of color. What does white represent?
Purity.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Holiness.
Yep. It's interesting. In some religions, so I saw that, who was that put up there? I'm looking, let's see. It was that Martin put good. It depends. It's funny about, you really got to know your audience because it could depend on one, the religion of the audience. It could be cultural because in some, that it might be considered like in the United States, Black might represent death, but if you're in another country, that might not be appropriate, right? So you have to really know your audience. You also have to like I said earlier about respecting the intelligence of your audience. You also have to take into account what they already know. And if you're going to design something, especially if it's going to be very like icons and clear and just simple drawings, that the color could really change the meaning of it. For example, we're just going to flip through these real quick. So you got a basic triangle, but if you look at those, look at them individually and see the difference. Your mind can turn them into different things. Isn't that cool how that works? Same thing here. One could be very holiday and refreshing, you know, and fun, and the other could be the opposite. And this is for all of my my geeks out there. Definite difference on this one. There you go. All right, we got one more here. There was another one here, but it was not PG-13, so we had to take it off. So we'll let your mind wander on that one. Okay, let's keep moving. So, question for you guys again. Now, everybody's answer is going to be different on this one. So take a minute to think about it. And then I want you to, instead of saying it out loud, just so everybody has the opportunity to do their own counting, I want you to tell me, how many things do you see on this slide? So take a minute and then type your answer in the box when you're done. So take a look at how many things do you see here? Don't say it out loud.
No, I have a question about that.
Go ahead.
So do you mean like how many things do we see as how many design elements, or like
how many things do you see? That's all. That's only the details I'm going to get. How many things is your brain processing right now? So go ahead and pop it in the box. Give me a number.
Like words.
How many things is your brain processing?
A lot.
There you go. All right, so you guys can see it's kind of popping in the box, right? 8 is the biggest number I've seen. Okay, so when I looked at it, and again, it's everybody. So Michael, exactly. I've seen someone last time I was here. They had tons. I was like, how did you come up with those? And we went over each one. But when I looked at them, this is what I saw. I saw 6 different things. So the first thing I saw was that top title. It's like a title on a slide. Why I'm a great candidate. I'm probably already talking about why I'm a great candidate, so I'm really not sure why I would have that up there. I've also got 2 different pictures that have words in them, right? So those are the words. And I'm seeing the backgrounds of the pictures. And then I'm also seeing this gold bar at the bottom that every time this slide comes up, my brain has to process that. So what happens when you design things like this in your presentations is that the person watching it stops listening to you and starts concentrating on everything that they see in that picture. And then by the time they finish it, which it could be a matter of seconds, it could be 10 seconds, it could be 2 seconds, but it's enough to cause a disconnect. And then it takes away the purpose of what the slide was there for in the first place. So if you think back to the apple, that apple was powerful and big and clear, and it kind of triggers something in your brain, especially if you're hearing something maybe about the benefits of apples, or the healthy people eat apples, or an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and boom, it pops right there, and it kind of makes you remember. Or if you're trying to describe what an apple tastes like, by seeing that triggers a memory. Oh, I've had an apple. I like apples, but then it's something to give you to remember. All right, we've got Wander, your hand's up. What you want to say?
Well, I wanted to say that just looking at the graphic for Think, it hurts my eyes. The color are fighting each other, and then there's the reflection there of the background.
Yep.
So the design hurts. In innovation, it's a little bit better, but I mean, they have added texture to it.
Yeah.
And the bevel effects around the letter, and I mean, I'm seeing a lot of things there.
Yeah. So there's a lot for you to be concentrating on besides what your speaker wants you to be concentrating on. So we need to be very careful when we're designing to keep it simple, right? Keep it simple and effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly go through. This is a really cool little slideshow that I found, 11 design tips for beautiful presentations. And what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to the ones that are on the right-hand side. These are the ones that we're kind of going for, okay? Now this is huge when you're using software like PowerPoint or Keynote that comes with templates already built. And so it's real easy to pick a template because you're like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that. I'll use that one. But the problem is that everybody that has that software has that same template, and then it just your uniqueness goes out the window, and there's really no reason for it. Okay, so skip the stock template. If you're going to use something that maybe has flowers on it or a certain pattern that goes all the time, then that gets boring really fast. You also want to keep the text to a bare minimum. In this class, I would really like you to keep, I would really love to have no text on the screen, because I'm trying to get you to resonate with me through your voice and what you're telling me. And if you're having me read a bunch of stuff that I could read on a paper resume, then I'm not going to connect with you. And that's the point of doing this, is to try to get the audience to connect with you as the person, as the qualified candidate, not your slides. Okay. So try to be really minimal on your slides. Please don't use bullet points. They are so 1988, and if you've got enough bullet points, if you've got enough information that you have to have 10 bullet points, there's no way that someone's going to remember all of those. So it would be better to have 10 separate slides that visually represent what you're saying, and they're probably going to be more apt to remember at least 50% of those, where with your bullet points, they're not going to remember anything. So please avoid the bullet points, okay? Also, the fonts that you're using. So can anybody tell me, what is the difference between the font on the left and the font on the right? When you look at them, what do you see that's different?
I can.
Go ahead, Wonder. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Serifs. Serifs.
Okay, could you explain to, maybe not everybody knows what that is, because if you look on the left, it says the problem was serif, and then on the other side it says sans serif. So those are two different things. Could you explain what do you mean by
sans serif? Means without serif. And so the one that says the problem with serif, if you could look closely at the letters, each letter, like for example, the T has those little things that come out to the side. You know, those are usually good for like body font, you know, so people can actually, you know, just like kind of like recognize the letters without having to actually read them. Mm-hmm. Whereas sans serif is good for titles, you know, things that you want to like, you know, big letters.
Right.
Usually.
Right. And so he's talking about, I hope everybody can see, they're like, I call them little feet. They're like, if you look at the T, if you look at the differences of the T on the left, the capital T on the left hand and on the very right hand side, you see how they're very clean and boxy and square. So those are the difference if you ever hear serif and sans serif. So great job, Wonder. I appreciate that you, how you explained that. You did a really great job on that. So think about it when you are designing. If you are going to use text on your screen, you want to make sure that you are, and this is more for when you're actually presenting live or maybe in a room. You want to make sure that your text is big enough for the person in the very back row, because you want to make sure that everybody can it benefits from the slides, okay? So you want to make sure that you size them appropriately. You also want to make sure that you keep the contrast between the background, especially if you have a busy picture. You can use the shading boxes behind it, but you definitely want to have the contrast behind them. Wonder, your hand's still up. Did you want to add something to that?
No.
Okay, no problem. All right, so then also that you want to get the contrast. You don't have those busy backgrounds. You also want to consider having a color palette. Most businesses, I don't know if you guys have ever worked for a company that has, you know, a specific color scheme. If you think about like McDonald's, or you think even Full Sail has one, there's a color palette that anything that you're going to see in their ads or in their letterhead or when their logo appears, it's a specific color, like the orange we talked about. It's not just any old orange. It is a certain Pantone. It's orange no matter where it is. So it can also be good when you're branding yourself. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, like if you have social media sites that you're trying to promote yourself with, LinkedIn and your Facebook or your pages or, you know, anything that you have out there online. you're using like the same picture of you or your logo of your company. So you start to have brand recognition or person recognition. Well, colors can do that as well. So you might want to consider what your color palette is going to be eventually. So think about that when you're designing, because we already talked about how important color was in design and what kind of message that we're trying to align with, you know, what they represent. So over there on the left, I mean, it's fun, but it's kind of kindergarten-ish too. It's kind of like, maybe we should try to act like we put a little bit of effort into it. All right. Sometimes too, you can use color instead of like bolding something or italicizing something, that you can actually use color. And if you do that repeatedly in an organized way, then you're actually training your audience to look where you want to. So sometimes I will have students, I'm not a huge fan of text on screen at this stage in the game for you guys, but I do have students that will use text, but they do it very deliberately, and they are having me look at certain places and certain colors, and they're training me as I go through. And it's really becomes something that I positively remember than something that is just kind of haphazardly. Now we talked, let's see. So Kim has got a question here. She's saying, when you're using Adobe Spark, does it allow you to create your images? It doesn't allow you to create your images, but you can find other images and upload them to Adobe Spark. So I think you can search for them. I know they have like a library that you can pick from, Kim. And so if you want to try that first, and if not, see if you can download or take pictures with your phone, and then you should be able to upload them to your slides if you want to. All right, so it's talking about pictures. If you're going to use pictures, I want you to have these really strong pictures, right? But one idea per slide. That's what Slideology talks about. It's what our brain can process. So even though that little kitty is kind of cute, after a while, he starts to freak me out a little bit. So like, everybody kind of move your head to the right and then move it to the left. Like he follows you, right? It's kind of like, what are they talking about? This cat is staring at me. And what there's a whale and then landscape. So by the time that the person is talking about landscape, I'm pretty sure the kitten doesn't need to be up there anymore. So remember, this isn't a photo album for you guys. This is using visuals to enhance your message. So please limit the number of slides that you use, or make different, pictures on a slide, or just make more slides. All right. Now, you can also use images to illustrate a point. So I think this is really cool. I hope that you guys can see this on your slides. On the screen that you're on. But I think this is really cool how they did the 99.8. Look at the circle. It's not quite full. There's one little line in there, right? So it's not quite a full circle. And that really represents 99.8. And then the drought, those cracks there, that really just kind of presses it in. So you're more apt to remember that information on the right than you ever would be on the left. Okay. So those are the things that I want you guys to think about when you're designing your slides. The next thing I want to bring to your attention, and Adobe Spark, I love Adobe Spark, but one thing I do not love about them, it seems that their default between images is to this zooming and this animation that just keeps moving the whole time. Animation and the transitions, things like that, should be done purposefully, right? Purposefully. That's a tough one for me to say. So if you don't, then when you do want to use it, it loses much impact and it actually becomes distracting, like that little guy right there, as he's pretty annoying. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. All right. And then you always want to try to go away with that star moment. Okay. So that is going to be it for the content that we have tonight. And since we're already going into, I think we're into an hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. So those that are watching it won't be here all night. We really appreciate you watching the recording. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Mr. Mock. I know that he's got another instructor that's answering you guys' questions. You can also tell them that you saw Suzanne Wilson's video video, and I will be more than welcome to help you guys out as well. So thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and y'all have a good night.